and welcome to Global Atheist News, our weekly report on how religion has impacted humanity over the last 7 days. Dateline 8th of October 2022. This week's headlines. Russian war dead have their sins forgiven by Moscow's patriarch. Security forces crack down on Tehran University students. The West Hollywood community holds a vigil for the Iranian woman who died in police custody. The Iran president says chaos will not be accepted as the protests continue. Iranian security forces arrest a woman for eating at a restaurant without a hijab. Iranian high school girls sing Gavin Hijab's song without hijabs. Palestinian deaths in the West Bank hits 100 this year. Lev Tahor Jewish sect members are held in a Mexico escape. Kabul blast kills teenagers sitting a practice exam. The Taliban locked all female students of Balkh University in their dormitories. A love jihad accusation rocks India. Gavin Newsom signs 13 abortion bills. Gubernatorial Candidate Mastriano would outlaw pole dancing in Pennsylvania schools. A warning. Some viewers may find the videos in this week's news distressing. Russian soldiers who died in the line of duty in Ukraine have all their sins forgiven, the patriarch of the Russian Orthodox Church proclaimed in a sermon, comparing their sacrificial death to that of Jesus. The assertion, made on Sunday, ratchets up Moscow Patriarch Kirill's already staunch support for Russia's war on Ukraine since its beginning in February. Kirill has characterized the war as part of a larger metaphysical struggle against an encroaching liberal West, which he depicts as demanding gay pride parades. He has echoed Russian President Vladimir Putin's depiction of Ukraine as spiritually and politically tied to Russia through their common medieval roots. Iranian police have cracked down on students at a prestigious university in Tehran as anti-government protests continue to sweep the country. See this video. Reports said a large number of students at Sharif University of Technology were trapped in a car park that had been surrounded by security personnel. Another video. One video appeared to show students running away as gunshots rang out, and another appears to show people running as motorcyclists advance along a street. Gunshots can be heard, as well as chants of "Death to Khomeini." The US-based Center for Human Rights in Iran said a third video showed a detained protester being carted away with their entire head wrapped in clothing by two security personnel on a motorbike, one of whom then opens fire at the woman filming. Reports said a number of students were beaten or shot with pellet guns and that 30 to 40 were arrested. In Los Angeles, the local community held a vigil at West Hollywood Park on Thursday to honor Mahsa Amini, a 22-year-old woman reportedly killed by Iran's morality police. The Iranian American Women Foundation, IAWF, organized the candlelight vigil at the park. West Hollywood Mayor pro tempore Seppi Shine, Beverly Hills Mayor Lily Bossi, and Beverly Hills Council member Sharona Nazarian spoke at the event. "We want to be here to have a voice for those women who are still in Iran fighting for their rights and nobody hears them. We are their voice. They've been tortured, they've been put to prison, and it's just because of basic human rights that they're demanding," said Mariam Khosravani, the founder of IAWF. Khosravani said the unrest and protests in Iran are about more than just the hijab. See this video.
Good evening. Southern California has a large Iranian population, and tonight hundreds of people gathered in West Hollywood to show their support for the Iranian people as they fight for freedom. At West Hollywood Park, hundreds of people gathered for a candlelight vigil and march.
Say her name! Mahsa Amini!
Honoring the Iranian women who have died recently in their fight for freedom overseas.
To the women of Iran, we see you, we hear you, we feel you, and we will stand with you until for basic human rights.
The vigil was organized by the Iranian American Women Foundation following the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini in Iran. Amini was arrested by morality police for apparently not wearing her hijab properly. Iranian authorities claim Amini suffered a heart attack in custody, but several reports say she was brutally killed by police, sparking unrest and global demands for women's rights in Iran.
They've been tortured, they've been put in prison, just because of basic human rights that they are demanding.
City leaders spoke at the vigil Thursday, including West Hollywood Mayor Pro Tem Seppi Shine.
The revolution happened when I was 2 years old, and we fled Iran when I was 5 to come to the States. If we had not escaped Iran, I would be killed.
The city of Beverly Hills is also showing solidarity.
Beverly Hills as a neighbor. Tonight, our city hall will be lit up with these words: justice for Mahsa Amini, throughout the weekend.
Though West Hollywood is miles away from Iran, where the unrest is mounting, local community members feel a strong connection to the women in Iran, and their hearts are with them.
All I want is for our brothers and sisters back home to know that no matter how long this fight is, how heartbreaking it may be, we are going to support them. We are going to be behind them. And they're the real heroes.
And the community wants to be a voice for the Iranian people in their fight for freedom from oppression.
And we're going to get our Iran back. We are.
Iran's president has warned that he will not accept chaos as authorities continue to crack down on protests that have swept across the country since the death in custody of the young woman Mahsa Amini. But he added that his government could not allow people to disturb the peace of society through riots. Iranian security forces arrested a woman after a photo of her and another woman eating at a Tehran restaurant without their headscarves was widely circulated online, her family said on Friday. The photo emerged on Wednesday, showing the two women having breakfast in a cafe that, like most coffee houses in Iran, is traditionally patronized by men. One of the women in the photograph, Donya Rad, was arrested shortly after the photo was published online. CNN spoke with her sister, who said security agencies contacted Donya and summoned her to explain her actions. After visiting the designated place, she was arrested. After a few hours of no news, Donya told me in a short call, she was transferred to Ward 209 of Evin prison. Tehran's Evin prison is a notoriously brutal facility where the regime incarcerates political dissidents and is exclusively designated for prisoners managed by Iran's intelligence ministry. High school girls sing Shervin Hajipour's song without wearing hijabs. Here's a video. The song was written based on tweets for Mahsa Amini's protest, mentioning the reasons for the uprising, and it's become the anthem of the Iran Revolution. This video is by the composer.
برای توی کوچه رقصیدن، برای ترسیدن به وقت بوسیدن، برای خواهرم، خواهرت، خواهرامون، برای تغییر مسواک پوسیدن، برای شرمندگی، برای بیپولی، برای حسرت یک زندگی معمولی، برای کودک زباله‌گرد و آرزوهاش، برای این اقتصاد دستوری، برای این هوای آلوده، برای ولیعصر و درختای فرسوده، برای پیروز و احتمال انقراضش، برای سگهای بیگناه ممنوعه، برای گریه های بیوقفه، برای تصویر تکرار این لحظه، برای چهره‌ای که میخنده، برای دانش آموزا، برای آینده، برای این بهشت اجباری، برای نخبه های زندانی، برای کودکان افغانی، برای این همه، برای غیر تکراری، برای این همه شعارهای تو خالی، برای آوار خونه های پوشالی، برای احساس آرامش، برای خورشید پس از شبای طولانی.
At least 100 Palestinians have been killed in the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem this year, amid a massive increase in Israeli military raids, according to figures compiled by the BBC. That number was reached as an 18-year-old man was shot dead in East Jerusalem on Saturday, and after a week which saw Israeli forces reportedly firing an anti-tank missile at a house in Jenin that killed a wanted gunman and 3 others. This year is now on course to become the deadliest for Palestinians in the West Bank since 2015. The vast majority was shot dead by Israeli security forces and several by armed Israeli civilians. A distressing video.
مش بإيدي حركة كلبي كنت أتوقع يا حنان تعمليها بدي شيء يا حبيبي أنت تندفني قبلي يا حبيبة عمري.
Hanan was hit by a bullet heading home in a taxi. One among dozens of Palestinians killed in the West Bank this year. Israel's ramped up its incursions in the occupied territories after the deadliest wave of violence against Israelis in years. And the militants of Jenin refugee camp have been rearming. This is a story about the lethal mix of military raids, ungoverned spaces, and the civilians paying the price. In Jenin refugee camp, they call this the Martyrs' Cemetery. The boys come to visit their friends. The militant fighter here. You miss him? You hope to follow him? They're waiting for a homecoming in the camp tonight. And the crowds are growing. 2 men jailed by Israel 16 years ago have just been released.
That's how the prisoners are being treated here, with a lot of guns and a lot of gunfire. Well, that was pretty crazy and quite intense. I mean, there's a huge amount of weapons, M16s, automatic assault rifles. It's like people are letting loose. It really feels like, and you can hear that, things are ramping up because of the situation at the moment.
This was Tel Aviv on the 7th of April. The gunman had walked up to a packed bar and opened fire, killing 3 Israelis. It was one in a string of gun and knife attacks in which 18 people were killed. One involved men going on a rampage with an axe. Some of the perpetrators came from Jenin. Israelis were facing the worst spate of deadly violence on their streets in years, and the government said it was going on the offensive. This is the Hador family. Their daughter Hanan was coming home from an English class in Jenin. It was 3 days after the Tel Aviv attack.
عدينا فيهم 18 سيارة طلعن من باب البيت لفن رايحين على جنين. بحكي لها ماما بلا من النزل اليوم. خلص أجل موضوع اليوم. تحكي لي ماما آخر درس عندي، آخر فرصة عندي، لا تقطعيني، لا تحرميني منها. وأنا حابة أجيب معدل وأفرح وأفرحكم معاي.
Israeli troops had entered Jenin looking for Palestinians it linked to the killings. As they went in, heavy exchanges of fire broke out.
سائق السيارة يوم سمع شاف كانوا في جيش منتشرين انتبهوا نزلوا رؤوسكم على الأرض.
The family has few answers. It's not clear how the taxi was hit. The Israeli army says it is examining the case.
طالما في احتلال، طالما في قصص زي قصة حنان، وكل يوم بتصير قصة.
الله يحرق دمهم بس اللي حرقوا دمنا. الله يحرق دمهم اللي حرقوا دمنا.
Hanan would never finish her high school exams. She died in hospital 9 days later.
الله يجعلنا من الصابرين. الله يصبرني على بس على بعدك. الله يصبرني يا ماما. الله يصبرني. السلامة ماما. السلامة.
About 20 members of a Jewish sect held at a facility in Mexico after a police raid on their jungle base have fled. Footage showed men, women and children streaming out of the site in Huixla in the west on Wednesday night. They had been there since the raid last Friday, when 2 members were arrested on suspicion of human trafficking and serious sexual offences. The sect, Lev Tahor, is known for extremist practices and imposing a strict regime on its followers. It advocates child marriage, inflicts harsh punishments even for minor transgressions, and requires women and girls as young as 3 to completely cover up with robes. A suicide attack at a tuition center in the Afghan capital of Kabul has killed at least 35 people, most of them female students, the United Nations says. More than 80 others were wounded in Friday's attack at the Kaj Education Center in the Dasht-e-Barki area. Students had been sitting a practice university exam when the bomber struck. No group has yet claimed the attack, but many of those in the area are minority Hazaras who have often been targeted by Islamic State militants. Dozens of Hazara women defied a ban on rallies from the country's Taliban officials to protest against the violence on Saturday. Around 50 women chanted while marching in the street, calling for an end to Hazara genocide. Here's another video. The Taliban have locked all female students of Balkh University in their dormitories to prevent them from protesting for their rights. Once more, a video. Ankita Kumari, a 16-year-old Hindu girl in the Dumka district of Jharkhand, was set on fire, allegedly, for rejecting a Muslim man's advances. After fighting for her life in hospital for 5 days, the girl succumbed to her injuries. The incident has spiraled into a communal affair, as many deem it to be a case of love jihad. And after the attack, the victim narrated her ordeal in a viral video that I'm not going to show. The accused, identified as Shahrukh Hussain, and his accomplice, Naeem Khan, has been arrested. Governor Gavin Newsom signed 13 new abortion and reproductive health bills into law on Tuesday, strengthening California's already robust allowances for ending the life of a fetus. The raft of new abortion laws essentially codifies key parts of the governor's campaign to make California a national abortion hub. But pro-life advocates are condemning the move, calling it horrendous. All year, we've been fighting these bills to make people understand what is coming down the pike, Greg Burt with the California Family Council said on Facebook. Governor Newsom really wants to make California a sanctuary for the nation's abortions. Here's a video.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sophia Laurie, and I'm outside the Capitol today with
Greg Burt from the California Family Council.
And we have breaking news for you. Today, Governor Gavin Newsom signed into law a dozen abortion bills here in California. He has until September 30th to sign into law or veto bills that are sitting on his desk. And he chose today, Tuesday, September 27th, to sign in these bills.
Yeah, it's really disappointing. We thought this was going to happen, but all year we've been fighting these bills, trying to make people understand what's coming down the pike. Governor Newsom really wants to make California a sanctuary for the nation's abortions. Even last week, he announced a brand new website that his administration has put together to tell the whole country that California is a place to come for your abortions, right? He's putting up billboards in several states, pro-life states, encouraging those women there to come to California. Even claiming that using Jesus' own words about loving your neighbor as an excuse to come to California. It was a terrible misuse of scripture, saying that loving your neighbor is giving people an abortion, right?
At a recent campaign event, Trump-backed Pennsylvania Republican gubernatorial candidate Doug Mastriano told a wildly enthusiastic crowd that after he's elected, he would immediately ban critical race theory, remove all the graphic pornographic books, and eliminate pole dancing from Pennsylvania's elementary schools. Mastriano made these claims in spite of the fact that there is no evidence whatsoever that any of these things even exist in Pennsylvania's school system. This week's Free Thought Hour features oligomath Peter Rue. He says, "I became the person my priest warned me about." You can join in by texting your comments and questions. It's live and it's free. And don't forget to watch Global Atheist News Review, our spin-off show where a panel of opinionated people get a chance to express their views on this very news. The GAN team will be back with our weekly news report next week. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and set the notifications. This has been Global Atheist News. Thank you for watching.